Hi everybody, hi Itamar. So season 6 is here, it's right here. So this is a very complex story, right? It's already more than 5,000 pages and 50 episodes and 50 hours of story. So we want to put things in order and provide a few tools to how we see the story, the basic themes in the story, and this is a very cool way to understand where the story is going. So basically, we've divided the story, the whole story, into 3 themes, right?
Yeah.
First is the civil war in the Seven Kingdoms.
The plot starts when Jon Arryn,
The Hand of the King.
the Hand of the King, died mysteriously.
Right. Even before the
Nell
first
is called
episode.
Nell is called to the flag
Right.
to serve as the Hand of the King, to make some, to put the kingdom in order.
All this comes under the theme of the civil war,
Yeah.
right? The second theme of the story is the castaway monarch, right? Daenerys Targaryen is a castaway queen, and she's basically getting ready to go back and to reclaim her kingdom as she sees it.
Targaryens, they were deposed by Robert Baratheon, and Daenerys and her brother grew up in exile, basically.
Dreaming of coming back and reclaim their throne.
Yeah, dreaming to come back and reclaim their birthright. So Daenerys is carrying the torch of the family. The historical thing during a civil war, if you didn't cut the entire branch of the family that you deposed, there is still this risk that one of them, the descendant, they will rally up support and come back. And Daenerys, basically, her entire storyline, as we see it now, as we see it unfold, is to gather up their strength and
Right.
support in order to come back and reclaim her birthright.
Okay. And the third theme is winter is coming. The White Walkers are coming. These monsters from the land of always winter, mythical creatures coming back and threatening the realm of men.
The Bible says, "Mitzafon tipatach hara'ah," that this is a prophecy that
Okay.
says the trouble will come from the north.
So everything that has happened so far, all the betrayals and the deaths and the surprise and plot twists, everything falls under these 3 themes. And now, looking at the story through these themes, we're gonna break down, preview, and predict what's going to happen in season 6 in the entire story. Right? We've done a lot of character breakdowns. Now we're looking at the story as a whole. So let's start with the civil war.
It's more about the vacuum of power and a lack of a leviathan.
Leviathan.
A term coined by Thomas Hobbes. When there is a lack of consent towards who needs to rule, there isn't this force, this leviathan, this monster that will kill, basically, all the pride and ambition by the powerful people, by the ambitious people. There will always be a civil war or some kind of internal conflict.
So you need a central power. We could see it in the first season that when Robert was king, he was king, and his word was law. So basically, there's a vacuum of power, and the political situation in the Seven Kingdoms is totally 100% intractable.
Yeah.
You can take that to the bank. The Seven Kingdoms are going to get worse.
Yeah.
And the solution to this political crisis cannot come from the powers that be. There were theories that Stannis will win, or maybe Daenerys will win, or Jon will win, but the political situation cannot be resolved by the people playing the game as it is. So we have like detailed predictions. There will be like a trial by combat, and Cersei will do this, and this one will do that. But basically, the theme is anarchy is coming to King's Landing because there's a battle for the capital, for the state capital.
Anarchy is important because it weakens the state.
Anarchy in the capital.
And if the state is weak, it's more susceptible to new ideas, and new revolutionary ideas, and new ways of government that will not come from the system itself. Remember that this capital, King's Landing, was created by the first monarch of the entire kingdom.
The entire seven kingdoms.
Yeah, and Aegon the Conqueror. He created this fragile alliance between seven kingdoms, and he picked a neutral place,
Right.
and we called it King's Landing, and now King's Landing is falling apart. So basically, it means
So a kingdom.
the kingdom is falling apart
Right.
to its maybe even original pieces.
In tribal pieces, okay. And in the north, we see a battle for the north between the Boltons and Stannis. He already lost his part, but that's part of the war for the north. And the wildlings that are coming over, and we suspect the Vale coming over also.
Will be a tremendous chaos in the north, and fighting, and a lot of people are going to die.
So horrible.
But you know, it will be good.
Why would it be good?
Sansa.
Sansa. And there are two more parties to the civil war. There's Dorne and their fight against the crown, and the Ironborn, who will start to pillage and attack the west, because every single part of the Seven Kingdoms has to play the Game of Thrones and to be a part of the civil war in order for things to get really worse.
Yes. Very important choice that he made. He could have written the entire story by writing only 3 books, a trilogy.
Okay.
You know, the Castaway Queen, she will end up as queen using her dragons. But it chose to do it in 7 books. And it
Okay.
chose to, in detail, tell us about the King's Moot in
Right.
the Iron Island, about the free cities and how they do they do stuff over there.
Right. And the Dothraki system of government, and,
And,
what happens in Dorne, like
And
the
Slaver's Bay, and the
Right.
national feeling the Dornish people have,
Right.
and the wildlings that they call themselves free folk.
Right.
So we made all these little details and
No.
expanded it
Right.
for 7 books. Basically, I think telling us the real story is the political change that is following the main characters, and not the Battle of the Dawn, or you know, the Long
Dragons,
Summer and
right.
Azua High and the dragons and all these moments of fantasy moments that give us you know, nerdgasms and stuff like that. This is the tool to tell the true story, which is the journey that the main characters do, experiencing this historical change.
Okay, so let's go to the Castaway Monarch, right? Khaleesi, she has gone from pawn to prisoner. Now she will start the season as a prisoner, and she will end it as a super Khal,
Genghis Khan.
a Genghis Khan. And her journey is from a ruler to a destroyer,
Yeah.
from a liberator to a conqueror, maybe even a subjugationer, because she has already started to shed off some of her ideals about slavery and about human rights when she reopened the pits, the fighting pits, even though they are not just. So she has already begun to see that the real politics sometimes clash with your ideals, and what he basically is telling us is that ideals can sometimes prevent you from getting power.
Yeah, so this season I see her unleashing her internal dragon.
As the dragons are being unleashed in Meereen, waking the dragon basically.
Waking the dragon, yeah, and she will understand something about herself, that her true meaning, her true calling is to destroy, is to burn.
Burn, baby, burn. Burn them
Burn
all.
and eat meat, raw meat.
So let's go through to the last theme of the story and how it will play out up north, right? The White Walkers are still coming. They're still coming. Not a lot of things are going to happen over there. Basically, we'll understand them more, but they'll still be coming. They won't be...
They will unite the realm. Like a common enemy,
Okay.
an external common enemy, is the best way to unite people together. And I think there is a moral to this story of the White Walkers / others, that we are so engage in this politics, basically.
Caught up, right?
Caught up in this Game of Thrones, whatever. But the real threat, the real, thing that we need to be worried about is the climate change. There is a true existential threat to the future of men. Stop this bickering and internal fighting.
Right.
The true enemy is coming.
So basically, there are theories about conspiracies in the north and in the south and in the east, and everybody's against everybody. And sometimes oftentimes gets too complicated to fathom and to wrap one's head around it. But if you look at the story under these three themes, the civil war, the deposed monarch, and the White Walkers are coming, winter is coming, basically everything just makes more sense. There are no more smoke screen, and you can understand the story and see where it's going, and we think it gives like an added layer to enjoy the story. Okay, so let's wrap it up. We'll see you during the season. We'll have episode reviews on Mondays, and we'll have episode Q&As, and then episode previews with predictions for every single episode. So subscribe to get those. And in the description you can read our Patreon page. We have a lot of really good and really interesting extra content for you patrons. So check it out over there. And if you enjoyed the video, please click like and share it. Why not? Why not? So we'll see you all in our episode 1 preview on Monday. Check it out. Bye, everybody.